Hi, everybody. Welcome to the Oil Stream pregame show here on Edmonton Sports Talk. Tom Gazzola, YouTube Trev with you as we get you set for the 2-6-1 Edmonton Oilers taking on the 4-6 Nashville Predators. The Oilers wrapping up a homestand and will hit the road starting on Monday night against the Vancouver Canucks. The Oil coming off a tough loss 4-3 to the Dallas Stars, and will look to atone for some egregious errors the other night. They get a Nashville team off to a more respectable start, certainly, than the Edmonton Oilers. And the Oil, of course, having handed the Preds a 6-1 defeat in Nashville a couple of weeks ago. Matt Kassian, our game analyst, former NHLer, will be with us a little bit later on in the show for Game Changers. If you're on your way to the game, thank you for tuning in. If you're listening via the TuneIn app or our audio stream, and you want to get a hold of us, you can hit us up at the text line 780-218-9999. Or if you're watching on YouTube, get to us via the nasty chat. We appreciate that as always. All right, so the Oilers looking to bounce back, looking to wrap up this homestand on a positive note. 1 of 15 games on the sked. Meanwhile, you've got the Nashville Predators who roll into town. They're coming off a 4-2 loss to the Seattle Kraken on Thursday night. Now, if you're looking at the positives in this one, yes, Edmonton has beaten Nashville already this year, one of just 2 wins on the season. And the Preds roll into this one having dropped a couple straight and have only 1 win in 5 road games thus far. YouTube Trev, we just had you on Hello Hockey. And that was a fun show as well. But how you feeling, pal? You doing better than about 2 hours ago?
Yeah. Can you hear me, Tommy?
I can hear you.
Oh, okay, let's go. Yeah, we're figuring something out. Yeah, I'm
saw
feeling.
That.
Yeah, yeah. I'm feeling a little bit better. I downed a coffee. I downed 2 waters, and I'm feeling better. Belzy was super nice to me this morning. That's always it's always a pleasure getting to just chill with him. What a cool dude, eh? Like what a nice guy. So. Yeah, it was good. My morale's up. I can't wait. I'm probably going to be snoozing during the first period. Maybe, I'm not going to lie. But I'm gonna try and stay up. It's always fun watching the Oilers play the Nashville Predators. They seem to do really good against them. Leon Draisaitl in particular. I think we'll get into it, but I don't know if you've seen Raphael Lavoie is making his NHL debut, so that's going to be pretty cool. I'm pretty sure I just seen that NHL just posted it. So, I cannot wait, buddy. It's going to be a fun game, and yeah, I'm feeling pretty good right now. Definitely better.
Well, you're young. You've got a lot of gusto in you. You're going to be just fine. And yes, those 17 minutes between periods are great for little naps. And we'll hopefully have a pleasant post-game show following the Oilers and the Preds. So, like we mentioned, the Oil very good against Nashville. I see some text coming in saying 9-1 versus the Preds in their last 10. Yes, they've dominated Nashville in recent years. I think I saw after the last game where someone went into the Wikipedia page for the Preds and put owner Leon Draisaitl. That is very clever. That is funny. I always get a kick out of that. It happened to the Oilers after the first game. Someone screen grabbed it, sent it to us at 780-218-9999, and it was owner of the Oilers, Brock Besser. Always funny when the fan bases get into it in these situations and circumstances. So we will give you a hint at starting lineups and your starting netminders for this game. Now, the Oilers did have their pregame skate yesterday. Stuart Skinner smashed his stick against the post, went off the ice, ended his practice. Usually that happens when a guy whizzes one at his head or he just got frustrated. That's never a good sign. So I'm anticipating we'll probably see Jack Campbell this afternoon. A weird 1 o'clock start on a Saturday here for the Oilers. And we'll see if they can handle the afternoon matinee game and pick up a pair of points before they hit the road for games in Vancouver, San Jose, and Seattle. Then the Oilers return home for games against the Islanders and the Kraken. Then they hit the road. They go out east on the 18th. They're in Tampa. That's an afternoon game. The 20th in Florida against the Panthers. And then they've got the Hurricanes on the 22nd. The Capitals, a 1 o'clock Friday start. That's American Thanksgiving on the 24th. Then they return home on the 26th against Anaheim. 7 o'clock on a Sunday. That's weird. And then Tuesday night matchup against the Vegas Golden Knights. Then they're in Winnipeg on the 30th to wrap up the month of November. But at 2-6-1, absolutely not good enough for the Edmonton Oilers right now. They are bottom feeders at this point. I said it yesterday on the Oil Stream with Dusty Nielsen. I said, put on the blinders, tunnel vision, take care of the Preds today, then try to get a little bit of redemption against the Vancouver Canucks tomorrow. Take advantage of the San Jose Sharks. My goodness, they are terrible at 0-9-1 with just 10 goals scored through those first 10 games. And then you set up, if you get through this next 3 games, you set up a big game against the Seattle Kraken next Saturday, where it'll mean something, potentially being back at 500, if you will, quote unquote, and back on track. Do not look at the standings. Do not look at what the Vegas Golden Knights are doing. Do not worry about them. Just one game at a time. Very myopic, blinders, whatever term you want to use. That's how you have to do it as the Oil look to bounce back from that 4-3 loss to the Dallas Stars, where they did do some good things, but it was their egregious errors that really take the cake in that loss. You think of the busted coverage in the defensive zone, the lack of hustle on some odd man rushes, weak dumping attempts, and lack of awareness where you know your guys are changing and you try to flip a puck in on your backhand and then fall down. I'm talking about Philip Broberg, and 2 passes later, it's in the back of your net. That got him a ticket down at Bakersfield. So, yeah, you can't make mistakes like that, especially against the Dallas Stars, who were cruising, turned their record into a 7-1-1 at that point after that appearance in Edmonton. Okay, let's go into what we anticipate as starting lineups this afternoon. My goodness. For the Edmonton Oilers, McDavid between Hyman and Draisaitl, Nugent Hopkins with Kane and Gagner. Sam Gagner, welcome back. 3rd time's a charm. 2 goals in his return to the orange and blue, absolutely providing the spark. Evander Kane had his motor running in that game, so we'll see. I actually thought Nugent Hopkins was all right as well. I thought that there was some good moments from Nugent Hopkins. That line, if it can give some contributions offensively, continue to play well offensively, that would be a huge boon. I think McDavid and Draisaitl were certainly off on Thursday night against the Dallas Stars, and Hyman generally pretty consistent. I thought that the third line, and I'll point out McLeod and Holloway more specifically, did have some really good moments in that game against Dallas where they were moving the puck, they were using their speed in the offensive zone, trying to generate, but at some point, they need to get some offense going. It's nice to have possession in the offensive zone. It's nice to have good looks, but at some point, it has to convert into actual offense and goals on the board. So they'll have Warren Fogle, it looks like, with them this afternoon. And then Derek Ryan and Raphael Lavoie are the other 2 forwards. What do we expect from Raphael Lavoie? We shall see. I'd like to see him play in a more elevated role, but maybe he earns more ice time. Maybe Jay Woodcroft does get him out there with some more skilled players. And actually, Derek Ryan, I thought, had some really good moments when he was on the ice against the Dallas Stars as well. I don't think what he was doing was a detriment to the Oilers at all on Thursday. On defense for the Oil, Matthias Ekholm with Evan Bouchard, Darnell Nurse with Cody Ceci, Brett Kulak with Vinny Desharnais. As for the Nashville Predators, here's what we're anticipating from them tonight. Again, tonight, this afternoon. Ryan O'Reilly between Philip Forsberg and Gustav Nyquist. And then you've got Thomas Novak between Kiefer Sherwood and Luke Evangelista. Colton Sissons with Liam Fody and Yakov Trenin. And then Juuso Parssinen with Cole Smith and Samuel Fagamo. On defense for the Preds, Roman Josi with Dante Fabro, Ryan McDonough with Alexander Carrier, and then Jeremy Lauzon with former Oiler Tyson Barrie. Anticipated starting netminders for this game today. We're expecting potentially Jack Campbell versus UC Saros. We will confirm once the teams hit the ice for warm-up over at Rogers Place. 780-218-9999 if you want to get in on the conversation. And you are also able to get in the nasty chat over on YouTube. Drop us a thumbs up if you're watching on our YouTube channel as we get you set for the Oilers and the Preds. Penner's Pancake says, easy on YouTube, Trev. He is still on probation. I forgot about that. That's right. Although it was kind of funny, YouTube, Trev. Yesterday, we're going to have a practicum student hopping on board. One of them came in for an interview, and I was like, boy, YouTube, Trev, climbing the ladder quickly. He's going to be an elder statesman when the practicum student's on board. But YouTube, Trev, has been a great addition to our roster. How about that, YouTube, Trev?
Yeah, no, that's awesome. Yeah, I definitely, when we get the practicum student, I'm going to be like, oh yeah, I'll show you the ropes. I've been here. I know what I'm doing, but that'll be fun, man. It's going to be cool. Whoever we land, we're crushing it. We're loving it. It's yesterday, you were even saying it, Tommy. You were like, the vibes today were great. And yesterday they were. Like, we were just having such a great time, and it's going to continue. It's definitely going to continue.
I think so. Lots of good vibes in the building yesterday. And you know what? We did harp on the Oilers quite a bit, and I think deservedly so. And that made for a lot of fun on all the shows yesterday. And now we'll shift the focus and look at what the task at hand is today as they take on the Preds. Seriously, Trev, I think that the Oilers could put together a solid week and they could be right back in the mix. And, people will stop hitting the panic button. But if they lose today, I am concerned, and I think this is a great opportunity to get yourself back into a good flow and rhythm. I think you look at what the Vancouver Canucks have done to you. There's no reason why you can't beat them. You just play a damn good game. They haven't done that against the Canucks. So put together a good game this afternoon. Put together a good game on Monday night. Go into San Jose. Don't mess around. And then you have a nice matchup against the Seattle Kraken, who will give you a tough test in Seattle. But the Oilers have had success against the Kraken. So if by this time next week, we're talking about an Oilers team going into a game against Seattle with a couple more wins under its belt, I think some of the tension will be released. Not all, because there's a lot of work to do, but keep that focus very, very narrow and dialed in on the next day. It's cliche, but I think at this point, it actually has to happen. So we'll see if the Oilers can take care of business this afternoon, and then they can worry about the Vancouver Canucks on Monday. It is a busy day in the National Hockey League, 15 games on the sked, and the Oilers and Preds kick things off with the early one. Kind of rare to see the Oilers at home on a Saturday afternoon, but alas, here we are. We're going to see a bunch more of these afternoon games this season for the Oilers. This is a weird quirk of the schedule, and it has been an odd start to the year schedule-wise for the National Hockey League. We'll see like 15 games today, and then tomorrow you've got 2. 4 on Monday, 10 on Tuesday, 3 on Wednesday, 11 on Thursday, 6 on Friday, 12 next Saturday. And we had David Pagnotta on Hello Hockey describing it's tough to get everybody lined up with the building availability, avoiding World Series, avoiding, football on Thursday night, football on Monday night. Sunday is a huge football day, obviously. The NBA is getting going. So it has been a quirky start to the season schedule-wise, but here we are on a Saturday afternoon getting ready for an Oilers home game. All right, I see Matt Kassian is ready to rock, our game analyst, ready to do game changers. If you have any questions or concerns in regard to the Oilers, hit us up via the nasty chat if you're watching on our YouTube channel. And then if you're listening on TuneIn or just our audio stream, you can hit us up at the text line 780-218-9999 as we get set to welcome in Cass. How you doing, Cass? You feeling better, or are you still a little bit under the weather?
I'm still a little bit under it. Just like the Oilers season so far, I
Ooh,
envision this thing going a little differently than it has. Where I took some big steps forward one day, and then all of a sudden it was kind of like, oh, hold on a second. So I think energy-wise, I'm doing a lot better, which is a good thing.
yeah.
My sinuses still hate me for whatever reason. So you know, I have been. I've been chasing after my nose all day to
Mm,
go after the old your nose is running joke,
yeah.
the old dad joke. So yeah, no, it's I'm hanging in there. I'm hanging in there. Kids are hanging in there. A couple tough nights for one of them. We had a good old
Mm.
3 projectile vomit night from my youngest, which was
Oh
fun.
no.
And I don't think that helped because then you're not getting any sleep. So it's like, yeah. Anyways, we're good. We're steadily improving. Pretty hunkered down here for the time being still. But hey, I'm good. I'm excited to watch a little afternoon hockey, Tom, because it means I can go to bed early. So it's a good thing.
Yeah. Poor thing, your youngest. Hopefully she's feeling better. But man, Cass, you'll get through this. We'll do it together. Team effort. And Belsey was a little bit under the weather too, so it's certainly going around right now. You're
It's because
not
I
the
talked to him on
only
the
one.
phone. Like Belsey
Oh yeah.
he called me. He called me. Was that yesterday or was it Thursday? I can't remember. It was either Thursday or it was yesterday. Sean called me, and yeah, I definitely super spreader via the phone. So
Oh
that's
boy.
a thing now.
That's the thing now. All right. So Cass is good to go for the next 15 minutes or so. And if you have any questions for him, 780-218-9999. Or if you're watching on YouTube, hit us up in the nasty chat. So we're going to get to Game Changers with Matty Kassian, brought to you as always by Damon Bunting Remax Elite. Damon Bunting. I know him. I love him. He's a consistent top producing realtor in Greater Edmonton and among Remax realtors. He and his team would love to help you find that right home or make the move from your current home. He's community driven. He understands what it takes to make a difference in our city. So check him out on DamonBunting.com or visit his Instagram at Damon Bunting Real Estate. Number one tonight, this afternoon for Game Changers versus Nashville. Cass, the big mistake, obviously number one.
Obviously, number one. This is what you don't get from Damon Bunting and Damon Bunting at
Hey,
Remax
hey.
Elite is the big mistake. I kind of went with band names. That's kind of the theme today, either band name or like B movie names.
Okay.
The big mistake. Um, Tommy, in retrospect, when I look back to that Dallas game, and we talked about it right after the game, I think it was a pretty good game. They played a pretty good game, but they
Yeah.
found a way to lose in that
Right.
hockey game, which at this stage in the season, with your current record, you can't do. It's inexcusable. Um, the big mistakes that they made absolutely crushed them.
Yeah.
Absolutely crushed them. Can't do that again today. Now I think you're playing a team that is going to probably punish you less frequently when you make mistakes than the Dallas Stars will. The Nashville Predators are not as good as the Stars. They're not as good in transition as the Stars. I don't think they have the star power of the Dallas Stars.
True.
But just like any team, you give them enough opportunities and you make those big mistakes and it's still going to catch up with you. So you started to sort out your systems or your execution. I'm going to stick with the execution run because I still have, I'll beat that horse all day that
Right.
it hasn't been the systems, it's just been the execution. You have started 5-on-5 to execute your systems a little better, and you've still just killed yourself with those big mistakes. So, going into this afternoon, Tommy, just a huge opportunity, as you said, to play a game and to not have those grade A turnovers. And I know he's, and we'll talk about it in a minute. I know he's down in Bakersfield now, but to not have the Broberg, I'm going to turn a puck over, trying to do a soft flip in, 5 feet from my own bench when everyone's changing, and then the
Oh,
puck's just right down our throat the other direction. Like you can't have those. And if they play the same way that they did against Dallas, and they eliminate even half of those, they're going to win the game today.
right. I'm with you on that. There were good things, but those big mistakes, Cass, completely overshadowed the good that the team did, and it got people fired up. And totally understandable. To the point where people, this season's over. You know what? I don't think we're there yet, but I think if you give up 2 points today, I'm on the verge of being like, all right, let's just start ripping this team, because I gave it to them pretty good yesterday on the oil stream, and I think deservedly so. But it is fair to point out that they did do good things in that game against the Stars, right?
Absolutely. Well, they did. It's fair to point out that they did good things because they did do good things. They did have some good puck possession time. They did. Now I know there were some comments made, and I think at times there were too many perimeter shots versus high danger shots, but they did get pucks to the net, and they had grade A opportunities to score. Now they didn't bury those opportunities, and that's where
Right.
they fell short. Is that they did these really good things, but they didn't have that last inch. They didn't have that last finish. Um, you know, we talk about how there's no moral victories, but still, as a group and as a team, you have to come out of that one, and you still have to kind of pull the positives from it. And
Right.
yeah, I mean, it's as you said, Tommy, a huge opportunity today.
I want to get to this text via the nasty, or not the nasty chat, the text line. Tommy, I found it very interesting that you and Dusty on the oil stream put almost all of the oil struggles on a very young D-man in Broberg rather than putting the blame on group. Goaltending, the GM, who has them in cap crunch, and zero blame on the overpaid Darnell Nurse. Just shows you how out of touch you two are with this team if you were blaming everything on Broberg. Well, since we're talking about Broberg, and since this comment comes in via the inbox, we did put blame on Philip Broberg, and he made an absolutely egregiously terrible play. Now, to this texter, Dusty and I also put blame on Evan Bouchard for his egregiously terrible play.
Yeah,
We
standing straight up
also,
and turning around and not taking a stride and getting caught
yes,
too far outside the dots and doing all. No, if you, especially if you listen to the post game show too,
yep,
we picked them all apart. It wasn't
yep,
not just Broberg. Broberg was that moment, and we talked about how for players that are bubble players trying to earn their way into the league, you can't have those big mistakes. That can't happen. You get
right,
the leash if you're Connor McDavid. You get the leash if you're Darnell Nurse. You get the leash if you're Leon Draisaitl. Matt Kassian never got the leash. I tried one toe drag. I've told this story before. One toe drag, and I went back to the bench, and it was like an accidental, like just spur of the moment, because it was like I didn't have any other option, and I got called over, and like the never effing do that again. Like that's you have to know your role, and you have to execute your role until you establish yourself and put yourself in a place to be. So I don't, Tommy, don't give me that we just harping and blaming it all on Broberg. We're not
no,
blaming it all on Broberg. We're blaming it on everyone. Last game, I'm not actually going to blame the whole game. I'm going to blame that goal on Broberg. I'm going to
sure,
blame that game on their inability to finish from their top end players. I mean,
yep,
Evan Bouchard hits the post how many times? He's got to bury one of those. Some great opportunities. Leon Draisaitl, who had an off night, wasn't able to bury one of the one-timers from a position where he normally does. He's got to find a way to do that in that game. So, if anything, I'm blaming the top guns way more than just Broberg. But that's
yep.
just it's an easy example, and it's exactly why he was the guy that's in Bakersfield now.
Yeah. And you know what? And well said, Cass. To this texter who also pointed out that the goaltending, the group, the GM, and the cap crunch that the team is, and zero blame for the overpaid Darnell Nurse. We have pointed out Darnell Nurse when he's been bad, but we don't always allude to his contract and just blame him because of his contract, like this fan is pointing out. We did give blame to McDavid and Draisaitl yesterday on the oil stream, and we did say that the group hasn't been good in its own zone. So to that texter, I appreciate you listening and watching, but the selective hearing, that's got to improve. And the out of touch thing, that's just subjective. That's your opinion. Thank you for listening. Maybe open up your ears and listen a little bit better. We appreciate you regardless. Let's go to number 2, Cass, on game changers for this afternoon. The big German who needs to be better, like we said
He
yesterday
needs to
on
be
the oil
better.
stream. Yeah.
Yep, needs to absolutely be a bit better, and we talked about it on the post game show again. Can't have those when he's off. He's throwing those blind backhand passes that get picked off, and the puck's the other way. He struggled on his one timer, struggled on his execution. He didn't have a very good game against Dallas, or he was. I want to say he didn't have a very good game. He was below where he typically plays in terms of his level of play. So he was still way better than I mean him playing at that level is still better than I ever was, but he was suboptimal for Leon Draisaitl. Now we know how he dominates the Nashville Predators, and I think an immediate moment for him to play against a team and to rebound against a team that he has had a ton of success against. I mean, what better opportunity than going up against a team where it's just like I feel like I and not just feel like where you in actuality have completely dominated this team to get back on the horse and to get everything clicking again for him because you would hate to see it snowball where he has an off night and another off night and another off night and before you know it he's had 3 or 4 in a row. So I think a pretty big opportunity for Leon to turn it around quickly.
No better remedy than the Nashville Predators. So we'll see if Leon Draisaitl can get back into a groove, like Cass alluded to, and we alluded to. He did not have a good night on Thursday against the Dallas Stars. It is Game Changers, brought to you by Damon Bunting Remax Elite. Number 1 was not Create the Doubt. That was last game. The Big Mistake, the Big German, and number 3, the Big Bako Swap. Very much Big Lebowski is the theme I'm getting here. Is that what you were alluding to, Cass?
A little bit, not as much. I mean, I was kind of going. I don't know. I was going band names or movie names or whatever, and I actually didn't think. It didn't even click until you just said it about the Big Lebowski. But the Big Bako Swap. That actually you get that now with the Big Lebowski. Yeah, there you go. That's the maybe it's the meds. Okay. You have Lavoie coming in. We had Gagne step in and be, for as much as he could be, a difference maker against Dallas. Not that it was enough to win the hockey game, but he came in and had an impact right away. Now you have, I think, an opportunity here for Lavoie where, and we hear it from the fans in particular, and from some of the media, myself and yourself included at times, of like, oh, when is Lavoie going to get an opportunity? When's he going to get a look? When's he going to get a look? Well, the day is today. Tom, Lavoie getting the recall, a couple bodies in now in Gagne and Lavoie from Bakersfield to step in and to try to have an impact. Now, how much is he going to play? I don't know. How much impact? I hope some. I hope he plays over 10 minutes and they give him a legitimate look here. What do I think he needs to do to be successful? Well, I want to see him be physical. And I know that's not the primary driver in his game. He's not like just a fourth line run you over type of player. Like he's got some skill and some ability, which we want to see. But if I look at his body size and I kind of go, okay, could he watch a lot of Tom Wilson video and not that aggressive? He doesn't have to be that aggressive and walk the line that much, but if he can bring some of that to the bottom 6, that's something that they've been lacking. Really is they have lacked a little bit of that physicality, and with Gagne coming in and providing some of that grease that we talked about, if Lavoie can come in and provide a little bit more of that in that bottom 6, I think that just makes them that much better. So, reinforcements arrive. We already talked about Broberg going down. I don't think we need to dig into that too much. He's on the way down. So the old swap where you're swapping out a D-man, bringing up a forward with the Connor Brown injury. And Lavoie's going to get a little bit of a look here. So it'll be interesting.
How nervous is he going to be, Cass? And I know he's been hungry to get his shot in the NHL. We knew it was a matter of time. And I said it many times, like Lavoie will play. He'll play this year at some point, and now's his chance. So like what is going to go through his mind? You made your NHL debut years ago. What's the best piece of advice I suppose you could give him going into his first game?
Don't worry about your mistakes as much as you can't or don't want to make any mistakes. Just and I tell young guys this if I ever talk to them before their first is just go play. Just go play. Now, if you need to play physical, just go play physical. But it's the same game you've been playing since you were a kid. It's with bigger lights, more cameras, more people, maybe a little bit louder, playing against some better players, but it's still the game of hockey. And as I also tell them, just stick to your guns, do what you do well. Don't try to play outside yourself and just go have fun. Just go have fun. It's something you've been working for from the time you're a little kid. And you played that one game, Tom. I think, the numbers go up by, 30 to 40 every year ish. But the reality is there have been probably right around 8,100 I don't know what the exact number is today, around 8,100 guys that have ever played a single game, just one
Right.
in the NHL ever. That's not that many.
No.
That's not that many. And so enjoy it, because you get on that game sheet, you step on that ice, you have done something that basically no one else has or very, very few people ever done. You're part of it, an absolutely exclusive club, and just go have fun, because it's been what you've been working for since the time you were a really little kid. So just go enjoy it.
Enjoy the moment. Raphael Lavoie set to make his NHL debut this afternoon against the Nashville Predators. Had himself a pretty good training camp. Quite honestly, if the Oilers had not backed themselves into the cap crunch that they're dealing with, where they've had to have a 21-man roster, he would probably be on the team and had made his debut earlier in the season. Let's go to the Nasty Chat. A couple of messages to get to here. And if you want to text us, if you're listening to the audio stream or on TuneIn, 780-218-9999. This one says, it's my birthday today. It's from Ryan. Get a win for me, Oilers. And then Ryan also asked Cass, if you were celebrating your 47th today in Denver, how would you do it?
Well, I answered it in the chat, but I'll do it again here.
Yes.
Okay. So disclaimer, this is not, I mean, this is like it's an expensive meal. It's an expensive meal, but it may be my favorite meal ever. Like, this is like, if I'm going to spend money on a meal, an expensive meal, this is, and I can do it somewhere, this is probably somewhere I'm going to do it. So book yourself a seat at the Capitol Grill. It's an old school style steakhouse. Again, it's not cheap. So if it's outside of the budget, I apologize. Again, it's not something you do all the time, because it's not cheap, but it's so stinking good.
So good.
Get the wedge salad to start. Get the ribeye, medium or medium rare, depending on how you like it. I'm typically a medium guy. Classic ribeye. The coffee rub one is really good, but get the classic ribeye. Then get for your sides, get one side of whatever you want, and then get the lobster mac and cheese, non-negotiable. At that restaurant, non-negotiable. Get the lobster mac and cheese. Just do it. If you want some corn, or if you want some spinach, whatever, get another side. If you're there with a bunch of people, and then for me personally, for dessert, then I'm going with the creme brulee. Pretty again, classic. It's not overly, like, for a super fancy meal. It's not like it's a super fancy, like, chef designed, like,
Right.
5 Michelin star, like you get like 2 bites sort of meal. This is like, no, you are getting like straight up steakhouse, big old steak, just a good salad, big old steak, unbelievable, like, just belly filling mac and cheese. You're not probably going to be able to finish, because the steak is huge. So it's not like you're getting dainty little portions, but just absolutely delicious from top to bottom. Without question, if it's my birthday and it's in Denver and it fits in the budget, I am going there without question. Like, there's no doubt in my mind. That's like, I am going here. I am going here, because we don't have anything like that here.
No, it's true.
Just not. And actually, I felt, because Capitol Grill, there's a bunch of them in the States.
Yep.
And it was actually Chris Kalanos that introduced me to them. And that was when I was in the minors playing with Houston. And there's one by the hotel in Milwaukee when we're playing the Milwaukee Admirals. And he took us there. I'm like, well, what is this place? And he's even in the A. I mean, it was expensive. Like, in the A is just like you burn through all your per diem in one meal there. But it became a staple of, like, me and K Unit, we called them. Me and K Unit we're like, all right, like, this is happening every time we're going here, because this is just too good not to go.
I'm starving, and thank you for making me even hungrier. And I love Capitol Grill. It's absolutely tremendous. So great recommendation, great detail. In Denver, have you been to Elway's?
I have been to Elway's. Yeah. Elway's was really good too.
Yeah.
Elway's is good. Now similar in it. It's like a same thing, like kind of classic steakhouse.
Yep.
Like, it's not like super fancy French design, like hipster meal, which I like those too.
No.
Like, I'm a foodie. I like hipster meals. It's classic steakhouse. Elway's was really good. I still just, Capitol Grill was just it. That was it for me. Yeah. And again, the other steaks are good, but that ribeye, just slays me. And again, the lobster mac and cheese, you can't not get it. The lobster bisque is really good too there, but the lobster mac and cheese, you you have to get it. You
You
have
have
to
to
get
get
it
it.
if you're there. You have to.
Cass, I love the passion for the food.
I love food.
Ryan,
Look at me,
well,
Tom.
yeah, you're a
It's probably,
man,
it's
man.
probably, you know what? Actually, this is what I did. You know what I did this morning? Because I woke up probably my normal wake up time, without an alarm. My wife,
Mm,
because we've been up with kids throwing up, I just wanted her to sleep because I'm like, I'm not falling back asleep. I'm way too stuffed up. So I just kind of was scrounging around trying to figure out what to make. I was gonna make pigs in the blanket for the kids because we had some little
delicious.
pre-made biscuits, and then they were like, "No, we don't want any." So I'm like, "Fine, you're getting toast." But then you'll appreciate this as a guy that lived in the South. I decided to make a little classic biscuits and sausage gravy because
Oh yeah,
I had some sausage and with the
so
pre-made
good,
biscuits, and I'm like, I'm gonna do this. So I made that, and it was so good.
so
That
good.
was that was deadly. But yeah,
I love
clearly
how
I
you.
love food. Look at me.
Well, you're all man. You're 6'4", all man. Uh, Mandy, I like how well Mandy's from the South. She's from Texas. She's a Texas girl. I lived in Oklahoma for a little bit, and you quickly learn some of the the menu items and how good they are, and how like
Yep.
fresh, like you get the true Tex-Mex or the actual true Mexican, and you're like, damn, that's good. But someone mentioned Capitol Grill. Why there? It's a chain. Brandon from Windsor says London Chop House in Detroit, the best. There's so many great
Yeah,
restaurants
I
in
know
the
it's a
National Highway.
chain, but
Yeah,
it's not like I've been in Denver enough to know.
yeah,
I don't doubt that there's some non-chain places that are
of course.
spectacular,
Yeah,
that'd be delicious to go to. Like there are, and that's actually something in Edmonton, Tom, if we're gonna do like a food and turn this into a food podcast, Edmonton has been improving, I would say, pretty
yes,
consistently
yes,
with getting some, non just chain restaurants that have really good food that I really
yep,
like. There's a couple that my wife and I just absolutely love. And I'm not like a, hey, we have to go to a chain type of place, but that chain, I just love it. Like
yeah, it's good.
it's just so good. It's so good. And again, it's not something you do all the time. It's not like if I'm picking every, if we're going on like once every 2 weeks or once a month as a family, whatever it is, I'm not picking that place every once in a while. But if I'm like, I want a really satisfying birthday meal, I know I'm going to absolutely destroy and be stuffed and love and be happy. And I'm in Denver. That's what I'm doing. I'm not going to roll the dice on something I don't know in that instance. Whereas if it was just like oh hey, I'm just on the road and I'm just gonna kind of go for dinner, then yeah, I'll do some digging and research and try to find something. But it's
Well,
like,
yeah,
no, if it's a birthday meal and I'm going to go celebrate with my family, yeah, or my wife or whatever, like, yeah,
yeah.
I don't care that it's a chain in that instance.
There's some good ones. Brandon from Windsor follows up with, "You guys are making me hungry. My stomach is growling and has been for the last 5 minutes, and I need to eat something." But let's go into the inbox one more time. 780-218-9999. Cass, this one's for you. I'm going to send it your way. Do we need to move CC and Fogel for some more soldiers?
Yeah. No, like how is that going to help you improve? I mean,
I
I
know.
look at Warren Fogle and I think he's been pretty solid this year. If we're looking at consistent efforts for the course of the season, and a season that's been very, very bleak and dreary thus far,
Yeah.
Warren Fogle has been one of the brighter spots. Now we know it's a contract year for him. I understand the appeal in saying, okay, we could look to maybe try to move him for something,
Hmm.
but you for either of those guys, you have to be getting better. You have to be getting better. And what's out there that you're going to be trading those guys, and someone's going to give you something that's going to improve you beyond what they already bring. I don't know that there is much out there for that. And for this Oilers team, if you're adding, and the tough thing is the cap right now, the incredibly tough
Yeah.
thing is the cap, is
Yeah.
you are at a point now where you're not loading, like you're not moving out veteran players that have been around for a while. You're moving out young guys like Brobergs, like Borgos down in the minors, those type of players that are future promise players, which is hard to do. You don't necessarily love the idea of doing it, but you're in a win now, win today mode. Those
Hmm.
are the type of players that teams are going to trade you for. You're not necessarily going to be able to move out the Warren Fogels and the Cody Cece, for example. Now Fogel, because he's a UFA, would he be easier to move? Absolutely. But same thing, you got to be getting something better back, and it's got to fit in your cap. And I just don't see that happening.
And listen, a couple of wins that get strung together, and these conversations kind of go quiet. So, I, it's this group, Cass. Ultimately, this is just my take. It's just this group needs to give their head a shake, wake up, and start playing.
Yep.
And we've been harping on that for the better part of 3 weeks now, and it's just not happening. So, are we at that point where they need to look at a trade to shake things up? I don't think just yet. And
You're
then I saw
close,
some.
though.
It's getting there, yeah, absolutely. And then there's a comment about coaches and rumors that way. The coach gets heat whenever a team's struggling, no matter what. Pardon me, but I don't think that's the intention. And you can see Woodcroft. I've seen the 1,000-mile stare from him in recent weeks, and he's disheveled post game when they come off losses like they had Thursday, and that's never a good indicator, Cass.
No, well, it just shows he doesn't know what's going on and why.
Yeah.
And not, I mean, again, because it's not systems. It's not like, oh, hey, we just need to tweak this or change this or tweak this. It's like, well, no, we're giving you guys everything, and you're still just not doing what we're asking you to do, which has been what it is. And even in that win against Dallas, it's like, well, they do a lot of things really well, but in those big moments, guys have just made massive errors.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like, well, how do you fix that? Because you can't. It's not like, oh, this is just something to tweak. Oh, this is like your positioning over here instead of here. Like, oh, you know what? We've been kind of talking about having your stick in this lane instead of this lane. Like, it's not little things like that. It's just these colossal errors that you make, which is like, well, how do you adjust that? I mean, you tell a guy, don't make a colossal error. It's like that's all you can do, and you can only do that so many times before you get a little bit of the dead eyes going on, because you're like, I don't know what to do anymore.
Right. This coming down, Jack Michaels tweeting out a picture and saying, looks like Connor Brown will give it a go today. That's a surprise, Cass.
Yeah, that is a
Wow.
surprise. I guess we'll see. He just wants that bonus.
Oh,
get
don't get
the
people
shot,
going.
get the shot, and let me go. And then I'll step on the ice for one shift and be like, yeah, no, guess that's not good. Cash in. Yeah, now I'm out for 3 weeks.
Oh man. Okay, so Connor Brown looks like he will play. Raphael Lavoie will make his NHL debut. Hey, they're gonna roll out 12-6. Oh my goodness. I thought that it was gonna be a shorthanded lineup potentially. And Jack Campbell does get the start for the Oilers this afternoon against the Nashville Predators. Cass, rest up, get some honey, make sure the girls are okay, and we're not getting puke everywhere, because I know it sucks when kids are sick. So great stuff as always, pal. And we'll talk to you on the post-game show.
Thanks, buddy. It's one of those things where it's like she's fine all day, and then she goes to bed and it's just like,
Oh no.
It happened once and went in, and she's too little. Like, she doesn't understand. I mean, you put a bowl there for her, but she doesn't understand the concept really yet. And she's like, Dad, I spit up. So I went in there once and clean everything up, get her back in there. And then I hear her squawking again. So I go back in, and nothing has come out yet. She's just, I'm trying to get the bowl and get it to her, because I know it's coming. No concept of the bowl, and just all over me and all over my legs, just pure, like, it was bad.
Oh.
And so I'm yelling, which draws Mandy, because I'm screaming about getting, puked on. And then Mandy steps in while I'm trying to, like, gingerly not get puke all over everything. And then she just does it again to Mandy. So,
Oh
yeah.
no.
Ooh, Rod, I'll give this a throw at Lobster Mobsters. Yeah, if you like lobster in Edmonton, shout out for Lobster Mobsters. Some East Coast boys there doing some good things. So I don't think they're running any of their lobster rolls right now, but they're you need some East Coast, you need some seafood. They're pretty good spot.
Hey, it is the lunch hour, Cast. So a little bit of hockey talk, a little bit of food talk for all the foodies out there. Get yourself a bite to eat, and we'll catch up with you on the post game, pal.
Absolutely, buddy. Sounds good.
That's our game analyst, Matt Kassian, with Game Changers, brought to you by Damon Bunting Real Estate. Damon Bunting Remax Elite. If you're looking to get into the market or looking to sell, go check him out, damonbunting.com, or visit his Instagram page at Damon Bunting Real Estate. All right, YouTube, Trev, should we hear some audio from Jay Woodcroft from yesterday? We'll play a couple minutes, and then we'll get some final thoughts to wrap up the pregame show. How does that sound, pal?
Yeah, that sounds good. Let's give that a go. This is the Edmonton Oilers head coach, Jay Woodcroft.
You got a 2-6-1 record. The record's the record. There are some secondary numbers that would indicate, like expected goals for 5-on-5, you're number one in the entire league. Like, you're up there with the Carolinas of the world. teams that statistically have been analytic starlings. How do you kind of weigh not getting the W's versus the fact that you're certainly doing some good things?
Well, you're right. Your first statement was right. We're in a results-driven business, so we're sitting at 2-6-1. That's a fact. And in the coach's room and in the dressing room, we have an ability to face the facts. While at the same time, we understand that we feel we've played better than our record shows. Those statistics might point to that. But in the end, our record is our record. And for us, you can't make it all up in one go round. You got to attack it one game at a time, one period at a time, one shift at a time. And the big thing, we talk a lot about with our players is that we get to choose our attitude. Our attitude is our decision. We're under the understanding that last year we had a tough segment. We went 3-7 from games 11 to 20 last year. Still found a way to win 50 hockey games. I think there has been some good in our first 9 games here. Record's not where we want it to be, but we're methodical and serious and professional about choosing our attitude and making sure that we're attacking the things that need to get attacked.
All right, now some housekeeping. Janmark and Brown weren't there. Has been sent to the minors. Obviously, you have to call a forward up if those 2 guys can't play.
Yep.
You made the decision as to who's coming up. And
Yep. The decision's been made. I'll let the PR department put all that stuff out, or Ken put that out. But obviously, we're carrying 12 forwards on the year when Janmark's been out for the last couple of games, and certainly losing Brown last night, going down to 10 forwards. You want to make sure you're in a position to be able to at least dress 11 forwards, and that's a big factor in putting Philip down to Bakersfield, is that it allows us to call somebody up. And for Philip, it's also represents a good opportunity to play some big minutes, get his game, and get his confidence going again.
You mentioned Philip. What does he have to do better? I mean, obviously, when you dress 70, you're trying to, play your 6 and 7, not the same amount of minutes sometimes.
Yeah, you know what? I think, that's a tough situation, and he doesn't get to control the fact that we've gone 11-7. We've gone 11-7 a lot this year, not by choice, but by necessity. But for me, when it comes to Philip's game, I see someone who can play with a little bit more assertiveness, a little bit more authoritative in battles, somebody who, can snap pucks, someone who can use his legs to escape trouble. I think he's done that in spurts this year, but not long enough to warrant taking somebody's ice time away from them. And that doesn't mean that our team has been wonderful. Our record would say that. But for me, when you're competing to take somebody's job in the National Hockey League, you have to show, and you got to show it day in, day out. But again, this opportunity for him to go to Bakersfield is an opportunity to play a lot, to regain some of that confidence. And, it helps us meet a roster need of dressing at least 11 forwards.
You're still going to have to.
All right, so that was Jay Woodcroft yesterday following practice. The team on the ice for warm-up right now. We do know Raphael Lavoie, he had his rookie lap by himself. He'll be in action for the first time in his young NHL career. We can say that now. And it looks like Connor Brown's good to go, so a bit of a surprise there. So Edmonton able to roll 12-6. And we'll also see Jack Campbell between the pipes for the Oilers. And at the other end of the rink for the Preds, it will not be UC Saros. It will be Kevin Lankinen. So Campbell, lifetime versus the Preds, 5-1-1 record, 284 goals against average, 912 save percentage, and 1 shutout. And then if you're wondering about Kevin Lankinen and how his season is going this year, He is 0-1 through 2 games played, 362 goals against average, 867 save percentage. He's faced Edmonton 3 times, 0-2 record, 452 GAA, 864 save percentage. The Oilers facing Kevin Lankinen and not UC Saros. We're going to wrap things up. It's a quick pregame show today. This text comes in, no name on it, says, we lose against teams with 20 guys pulling on the same rope. Yes, that can happen. Has happened to the Oilers quite a bit. People talking about being hungry. Now that Cass was talking about great restaurants, I see him in the nasty chat still going on. Scalding Gord says, Cass is a spoon, stirring it up. And so I like it. It is the lunch hour, and I'm starving. So I need to get something to eat. That's for sure. All right. That'll do it for the Oil Stream pregame show. We're going to get YouTube Trev a nap after a big night out on his 25th birthday. Happy birthday to him. Happy birthday to Ryan, who's celebrating. Thanks for tuning in on your birthday, pal, down in Denver. And with that being said, let's see if the Oilers can end this homestand with a win. And they get the Nashville Predators, who they've had a ton of success against. They beat them 6-1 earlier in the year. Jack Campbell's been good against the Predators, 5-1-1 in his career with the shutout. And it is Kevin Lankinen in goal for the Preds. So that'll do it for the Oil Stream pregame show for Matty Kassian and YouTube Trev. I'm Tom Gazzola saying thanks for watching. Thanks for listening. We'll see you on the postgame show. Enjoy the Oilers and Predators.